Your statement is quite detailed. It's one of the longest we have had in this commission. It's 44 pages long, quite detailed on all the subjects. There is no mention at all of HR. You suddenly mention HR when we question you for not having given advice to Colonel Erasmus on what he had come to you about, which was guidance regarding the impending expiry of the suspension. That's what your statement says in so many words in paragraph 54. He had come to you to seek guidance on the impending expiry of the suspension. Now we ask you questions around why you never gave that advice. Now you suddenly say, no. With regard to the extension of the suspension, that was a process that was before HR, and therefore I did not have to give advice. How is that so when your statement is so detailed?
Chair,
how is it that your statement does not mention AR?
Chair,
Would I be unfair? Would I be unfair if I suggest to you that you are suddenly mentioning HR because you are faced with difficulties? Because now you cannot tell us why you did not advise Colonel Erasmus on what you had come to him about, or rather, on what he had come to you about.
Chair, at the time Colonel Erasmus came to me, there was already a process for the extension pushed through to HR. He wanted me to give him some supporting comments and advice that I could support it to HR, to the HR HOD. That is where the extent is when I raised the issue. So for me to support anything without having the full details.
And your statement says nothing about any of that insofar as it relates to HR. It says nothing about that. You only mention it for the first time when we question your failure to advise him on what he, in your own words, had come to you about. That's when you mention HR for the first time. Yes, it gives you a way out. You try to get away from the difficulty facing you by suddenly mentioning HR. I suggest to you, Mr. Behari, that you are mentioning HR for the first time because you cannot answer the questions we are putting to you about your failure to advise Colonel Erasmus on what he had sought your advice.
Chair, I hear you, but I cannot support that.
Yeah, Kubipa.
I respect that.
Yeah, so out of everything that Behari testified about, this is the real center of gravity. Behari's conduct around extending Julius Mkwanan's suspension is where institutional power, legality, and intent all collide.
Mr. Behari, you're doing it again, and I don't mean to interrupt you. You can explain yourself afterwards. I just want to know what was your response to this letter, because you're telling me about your discussion before the letter comes. So if you look at the first paragraph of the letter, on page 182, it says, further to our discussion regarding the above matter. So this is after you had told him all of what you're telling us now. He sends you the letter because he says, as discussed earlier today and agreed upon, that I shall provide you with a copy of the internal dossier listing all the documentary evidence whereupon the decision to proceed with the disciplinary matter has been based, and that you will peruse this during the 22nd of June 2023 and provide a way forward urgently as per the background listed here under. So what was your response to this letter?
I did not respond to the letter because the dossier did not come to me. The documents, it says here, on the 21st, which is served to me, I shall provide you with the dossier of the documents. So he didn't send me all those documents.
Mr. Behari, I think you're going to be hard-pressed to convince 4 lawyers that you as a lawyer didn't respond to this when you didn't receive the documents. So you don't get the documents back from him, and you're not requesting it.
I did not get the documents from Chief. He needed me to respond by. He needed me to respond under very strict timelines.
I find it hard to believe that a lawyer of your many years of experience, 28 years as you say, when you don't receive supporting documents, you don't go back to the lay person and say to him, you haven't given me the documents to consider. Bearing in mind, you have considered these documents before. He has nothing new. There's nothing new that he has in these documents that Lieutenant Colonel Erasmus didn't already give to you a month earlier.
If you look at page 181, someone acknowledges receipt of the dossier. Who is that, Engelbrecht?
That's the PA, Louise Engelbrecht.
That's your PA?
Yeah.
So it was delivered on the 22nd because he or she acknowledges receipt on the 22nd of June. So you can't say the chief did not deliver the dossier. Maybe you didn't see it because you say you were out of the office, but someone in your office accepted
I was
it.
out on the day, which she acknowledged receipt on that, but it was delivered on the 22nd, Chair.
Yes, no, that's fine. Let's take it step by step.
22nd of June was clearly with no explanation why those charges were not served on the 19th. So I do say that, yes, I did commit to assisting him, but 22nd it was impossible to, with me not being in the city as well, to have done anything on that, Chair. That is an HR function, Chair.
If it's an HR function, why didn't you just say that to him? Why didn't you just say, this is not a legal function, it's the 22nd of June 2023, I don't need to be involved?
Chair, he came to me after my engagement. So the full discussion, which what I had with Erasmus as well. He came to me to see if I could, let's say, assist in processing that. By that time, he never informed me that it was due on the 22nd. He says it was supposed to have served on the 19th. It was not served. That's a letter he showed me afterwards. But on that date, he wanted to know how can I assist in the process forward. But the letter that he sent to me shows it was supposed to be served on the 19th. And then he says, okay, it was not served, without explaining to me what the situation was.
Okay, so when did you tell him that it's not a legal function, it's an HR function, and it can go ahead without your involvement?
No, I didn't tell him that because he was dealing with NISA. You see, all the stuff is about NISA and so on. He was dealing with NISA, but he came to me after I met with Erasmus, and I explained to him what the situation. I discussed the same things that I discussed with, I think, on the concerns of that. But it seems that they had continued to proceed to process the charges and proceed. So I didn't have any engagements then on that. My issue was then, okay, let's see how we can finalize. You come here, let me see how it goes. Because the service of the charges is not with me, it's with EMPD. It's with EMPD and with the HR.
So the dossier gets delivered to you on the 22nd of June, like Commissioner Baloy had indicated to your office. It's sitting there, you do nothing about it.
See, I wasn't around on the 22nd. I got back on the Tuesday, the following week.
And then,
sorry?
did you follow up?
No, by that time, the date, when I looked at the date, it had already gone past for service of the document. I didn't do anything further. I didn't follow up.
OMG. Again,
So
this
was
is
one of the
decisive
instances that we
institutional failure.
Commissioner
It was
Kumalo saying,
unlawful
well, you were
for
involved.
Advocate
There was another
Behari
trigger event,
to
which was
sit
the
on
IBID
that letter and the dossier, let
And
the
before we go
timelines
to the report, can I just
run,
understand how
later
you,
say
got,
other people are
cited the
responsible.
report? How
He
did
says
you
HR was
into
responsible.
possession of that report?
Again, institutional power and intent collide on this one. Advocate Behari received a formal request from the Chief of Police to review the disciplinary dossier relating to Julius and failed to act on it. That one omission, materially affected the city's and EMPD ability to lawfully manage the suspension and the disciplinary process. It alleges dereliction with consequence. This man, no wonder he was referred
Because the question was, why have you not arrested him?
to
They could not give a
the new task team. Is going to deal
On
with
or
him.
about September 2023, IPA delivered a report to the city containing preliminary findings on various EMPD matters. The report contained disciplinary recommendations and referred to potential criminal conduct. Several of the findings were framed in broad terms, pending prosecutorial direction from the National Prosecuting Authority. Now, you say various EMPD matters. What are you referring to as various EMPD matters? Are you referring to more than one employee involved in here, or one employee but various matters relating to just that employee?
The matters related to Mkonazi and there's various other, fraud, corruption, and so on. So that's what we're referring to.
Okay, so it was just related to Brigadier Mkwanazi. Okay.